Wisconsin Eye's 2014 election coverage is brought to you by the Wisconsin Hospital Association. For over 90 years, a valued voice for Wisconsin hospitals, supporting high-quality, high-value care in communities like yours.
Wisconsin Eye is at the Hedberg Library in Janesville, interviewing candidates for the 2014 elections. We're interviewing Herschel Brodkey of Janesville. He's a Republican running in the 43rd Assembly District. Herschel, welcome to Wisconsin Eye.
Well, thank you for having me.
And just a programming note, Wisconsin Eye appreciates the support of the Wisconsin Hospital Association, which represents more than 139 hospitals and health systems, for making these candidate interviews possible. Herschel, first run for partisan office?
That's right. First run at the age of 19.
At the age of 19? Well, that's a pretty interesting. So what brings you to partisan politics, or?
Well, I'm not to partisan politics, but I guess to politics in general. You know, what really brought me in is I saw some certain things not being represented the way I thought they should be. So I thought, you know, I'd throw my hat in the ring and see what I can do.
Have you run for anything before? Not at the age of 19?
Not at the age of 19, no.
Okay. What things did you see that you thought you could do better or have better results, Herschel?
Well, I saw a lot of my friends, my family, you know, my neighbors here in the district, and were struggling with some local issues that were kind of being overlooked because they were either not big enough for an issue or because of entrenched politics. And that's really, I think, the problem with politics today, is that a lot of people really hate this entrenchedness. And you could see it with the approval numbers for Congress, like 16%, heck, it might even be lower. You know, and that's because, you know, people are just encamped in their parties and not willing to deliberate or anything. And I plan on, you know, going in there and try to solve the problems that need solving.
I'm intrigued. Why is a 19-year-old a Republican and not a Democrat?
Well, I don't think, you know, the numbers show you that, you know, a lot of Democrats are young, and, you know, Republicans tend to be the older ones. But, you know, I think that the message itself, that the values on the conservative side are the ones that will, you know, take our society to a better place. Because I think the liberal politics you can see are just not doing very good things for cities like Detroit, Chicago, or even the nation itself.
Okay. Give us an example of one local issue that you felt was not getting the result, or one local issue that brought you into the race.
Well, I got a pretty big district, so I got a lot of different local issues. I have a lot of different cities, I have a lot of different towns, and you know, just off the top of my head, a pretty major one right next door, our neighbors, Milton. They have the 26 bypass, and what happened was a lot of businesses are losing a lot of their business because they cut off John Paul Road. Mm-hmm. And you know, they bypass the whole city. So a lot of businesses are complaining that, you know, this is a big issue, and what they want to do is they want to create a business route that will go into the city of Milton and then out and then rejoin the bypass 5 miles down the road. That plan, I think, is just not thought through very well. A lot of businesses think it's really a bad plan. I think it might just be a big waste of money, so we're going to try to get in there, you know, take a fine-tooth comb to these kind of plans and see what we can do to fix it.
Well, which calls up the issue of transportation funding statewide. Mm-hmm. There's a projected $650 million deficit in the next 2-year budget of the Department of Transportation. Would you delay some of these highway projects or raise taxes, or how would you make up that deficit?
Yeah, I don't think raising taxes is ever the right answer for almost anything. It's not a funding problem, it's a spending problem. We have plenty of money from taxes, and you know, it's a projected $650 million deficit, so it's not a fluid number. You know, and if there still happens to be this deficit, then I think it's important that we take a fine-tooth comb to the budget for the transportation, because it's been growing at an increasing rate, way too high, and we take a fine-tooth comb with it, get rid of the fat, the things that are unnecessary, the wasteful spending, and then if we still have the deficit, it's important that we prioritize. We need to take the things that need to be done, because infrastructure is very important to an economy. We need a great infrastructure. So we take the things that are really important and we delay the things that aren't so important.
Okay. Where are you in school? Are you at a college or university, or just graduated? Or
Yeah, I graduated from Parker High School
Okay.
in 2013, and I went on to the University of Madison, Wisconsin.
So you'll be going back to Madison in the fall, or
No, I plan to take a semester off.
Take a semester off.
To pursue this
Okay.
opportunity, and yeah, I definitely plan on resuming my education. Even if I win, I plan on taking online classes or some sort to finish my degree, because I think it is very necessary for me to have a well-balanced understanding of all politics.
was a recent graduate of Parker High. Let's talk about the school choice and voucher issue.
Okay.
Do you support those options to public schools?
Yeah, school choice I think is very important. You know, I live in the Milton School District, and I went to Parker High School because my mom thought it would be better for us economically if we went to Parker High instead of Milton, just travel distance, etc. So I think it's important that kind of way for families to have a decision in their child's education. And school vouchers, I think, offer a great opportunity for definitely high-risk students, low-income students, to get the education that they need to stop the cycle of poverty, to be high-ranking members in society.
Another issue involving public schools is I interview candidates as a Common Core standards. Do you support them, or have you studied them at all?
Yeah, Common Core started as something that, with good intentions. You know, it's a good idea. But what it is today is it takes the parents farther and farther away from the decision-making process. And when you have something as important as education being driven away from the parents, it's just not a good idea.
Some candidates that I'm interviewing say Wisconsin should withdraw from Common Core standards. Is that where you're at, or no?
I think that we're better off without Common Core standards, and we're better off putting the education back into parents' hands, and well, more into parents' hands and more into the community.
Okay. Question on health care. As you know, the federal government told all states, if you expand health care benefits to the poor, we'll pay for it for at least the first 1, 2, or 3 years. Governor Walker and leaders of the Senate and Assembly said, thanks, federal government, no thanks. Do you agree with that decision?
Yeah, I think it was a great idea for Scott Walker to take a stand on the federal expansion of Medicaid, because that money is not safe money. This year we'll have an election cycle where the Senate could look completely different. 2 years we'll have a new president, and he or she could, and with the help of the Senate and the House, repeal Obamacare or replace it, and that funding could stop. And we're left with the bill for the rest of that. And I think it's a good idea for, especially with the botched rollout, and only a third of the people who are signed up for Obamacare actually paid their first payment, that we step back and let the other states be the guinea pigs for the experiment and see if it goes well. And since it hasn't gone very well, I think we made the good idea.
Okay. Because it's so timely, I'm asking all candidates this. What was your reaction to Judge Crabb's ruling on same-sex marriage?
I don't think that as a state representative for assembly that issue pertains to me very much. But I am in favor of traditional marriage. But again, that's up for the courts to decide. It has nothing to do with the state assembly.
Okay. 2 candidates for Attorney General say first offense drunken driving should be a crime and not the traffic citation that it basically is now. Should it be a crime, sir?
I think the real issue here is the repeat offenders. The people who are the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6 time offenders of OWI. You really see the deadly accidents, the ones that a lot of my friends have been in. Be the result of someone that's their first time drunk driving. They're usually the 4, the 5, the 6 OWIs. We need to really put strict restrictions on the repeat offenders to make sure that stops there. You need to have your license completely revoked when you get to that point where you're the repeat offender, putting everyone in the society in danger.
As you're aware, there are calls in Washington and Madison to raise the minimum wage. Do you have a position on that?
I think minimum wage is best as a kickoff point. It's not meant to be, you can raise a family on. It's meant to be for, I worked minimum wage, and I worked it just to get my, to get job skills, to know how to work a job, and that's what it's for. It's to, my friend works at Office Max, and he goes there so he can pay for school for the fall and the winter, well, the spring. And, and his parents pay for everything else. And that's what it's meant to do. You pay for something, and then after you're done with whatever college education you plan on doing, you graduate and you get a job up and higher. So the ladder goes like this, so that the juniors and seniors from high school can get the next group, and then when they graduate, the juniors and seniors can get the next.
I see. Okay. Any other issues that are important to your campaign that I haven't asked about?
Well, for the whole district, there's basically 3 main issues. Again, each one of the cities and towns has their very major issues for each one of them. But as a whole, there's 3 main issues, I think, and it's bringing manufacturing jobs back to our district. It's tourism. We need to do a better job of promoting our area, and
It'll come to you.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe it'll come to you in the context of this final question. Do you want to highlight any differences between you and your opponent in the primary?
Well, Leon's a great guy, but I feel I have the most to offer, and I'll try not to let my youth enthusiasm overwhelm the old guy too much.
I see. Did you think of your third issue? No?
I'm still thinking. I don't know what it is.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Herschel Brodkey of Janesville is a Republican candidate in the 43rd Assembly District. Herschel, thanks for talking to Wisconsin Eye.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.